iPhone 6. This phone belongs to my cousin. It fell, and since then has never turned it on. It works, but the screen remains black. She asked me to try to recover at least the data and, if it's possible, fix the phone, but trying to keep the cost down. I know this device pretty well because I have already done several jobs on it: battery, screen, and housing replacement. But this time, for various reasons, I couldn't get my hands on it, and she brought it to a repair center. Unfortunately, they only recovered a small part of the images. I will try to replace the screen with a test one to recover the data. If it works, the next step will be restore the device, and I have an idea to perform the operation without spending money. Let's see what I can do. Ciao, my name is Mirko and this is how I restore it. As always, the pins to organize the screws are essential with iPhone. I remove the pentalop screws, only one is present. Using a suction cup and a plastic pick, I open the phone. Operation more complicated with broken displays. Bad news, a lot of screws are missing. Probably the repair center did the job and then didn't put all the screws back. Even one of the two metal rings near the home button, necessary for closing the screen, is missing. That's why one of the pentalop screw was missing. I remove the metal protection of the battery connector. Disconnect the battery. Then the protection of the display connectors. I disconnect all the flats. I found some pieces near the lighting port. I also take off the vibration motor. A screw is missing here too. By turning the phone, I recover another screws. It will be a lot of fun to rearrange them. Now I take a test display to check if the phone works. The screen is intact, but one of the metal rings near the home button for closing the display is missing. I connect the display and try to turn on the phone. Obviously, the battery is dead. I have to charge it a little. The phone works perfectly. The data is all here intact. Let's move on to the data recovery. I connect the phone to a computer with the latest version of iTunes. The device must be authorized, so it is recognized. Now I can save all the images, but I only see a part. Most of them are stored on iCloud. That's why they couldn't recover all the images. iCloud has reached the limit of 5 GB and therefore can no longer synchronize. So part of the photos are on the device. The other part is stored in the cloud and cannot be reached only by connecting the phone to the PC. I have to connect to iCloud. Luckily, I know her Apple ID. And in fact, all the images are here, and I can also download them on the PC. For safety, I also make a backup of the whole phone with iTunes. In the cards, I leave the link to the video where you can see the procedure. Data recovery. Let's move on to the restoration. I take the display and tear down it. I remove the protection of the home button. Now I remove the protection on the front sensors. I take off the speaker. I disconnect the on button. The gasket has come off. I'll have to fix this too. The on button doesn't look good. The surface is all ruined. I doubt that the fingerprint sensor works. I hope that at least it works as a button. I put it aside for now. I remove the front sensors flat. Now I can remove the LCD metal plate. Only the light sensor filter remains. I recovered everything. Now let's see what I can do for the display. This is the plan. The display I used is intact. Only the pentalobe screws closing rings is missing. In the various broken display I own, there is one with broken glass but with both locking rings. If I could remove the plastic frame from that and put it in the working one, I would have a perfect display for free. I make a first attempt on the non-working one that came with the phone. I hit the edges with a heat gun. Even if I make some mistakes, it doesn't matter. It doesn't work. With a blade, I try to enter near the on button. Doesn't work. I try from the top. Better. I use other tools to loosen the adhesive. Perfect, it works. The glass is broken, so it is partly attached to the frame, but it can be safely cleaned. The experiment worked. Now I can take the display with the broken glass, but with the good frame, and try to detach it. Now I know where to start to detach it. On the top right side. Everything is easier now. Frame recovered. I clean it up a bit. Now I repeat the operation with the working display, the most delicate part. Frame removed, and the display is still intact. Very good. A good clean to remove adhesive residues with alcohol. I put some adhesive on all the frame edges. I attach the frame to the display and fix everything with plastic clips. I let the display rest for a few hours. Now I remove the battery to better check the situation of the screws. The stickers are broken, but I can still take it off. Another screw recovered. A good clean also here. So I can take care of the screws organizing. Those found inside the phone. I take the missing one from my stock of screws, but I have to measure them to find the right ones. I put the screws back in place. I take the display and remove the clips. I plug in it and try to see if it works or if I made some mistakes. Everything works perfectly. Very well, I can go. I disconnect the battery, I unplug the display, remove the adhesive excess with a plastic tool and clean the display. Now I reassemble the display. I put back the LCD metal protection. I put back the front sensors flat. The speaker, the metal protection, now the on button. I give it a good clean. I add some adhesive to the gasket. I attach the on button. I take a piece of double-sided tape to attach it to the on button flat. I place the on button, connect it and put the metal protection. Now the new adhesive for the battery. I plug in it and then put it in place. I unplug it. Now the display. One last test. As I thought, the Touch ID doesn't work. The on button is okay. Everything else is fine. I put back the display flat protection. I also put the battery connector metal plate. I close the phone and put the pentalobe screws. And that's it. Time required about 12 hours of work. iPhone 6. It was an hard work. I was able to recover all the data that I will give to my cousin. I was also able to recover a display without spending money, and the phone can now still be used safely, even if the fingerprint reader doesn't work. Unfortunately, I can't fix it. If you like the video, remember to subscribe to my channel and follow me on my social. Ciao!